friends, what's up? I hope everyone's been well. I've got a great book for you today. It's by one of my favorite authors. The book we're going to talk about today is The Comic Con by Dee Lagasse. So I'm having trouble saying that title. I don't know if it's the double C's. I don't know, but if I screw it up, bear with me. And also bear with me, I'm sure, and I know I'll hear it when I edit the video. I've got my dryer going in the next room, which I often do because, you know, a mom's work never ceases. So I've got laundry going, but I have winter coats in the dryer and they're like big and heavy. And so the dryer's kind of making a lot of noise. I apologize in advance, but you know, like that's my everyday life. I was super excited to read another book of Dee's. I've done videos on most of her books on my channel here and was excited to read this book in particular because who she used as a muse for the main male character, I was all in for. The Comic Con is about Birdie and Atticus. It's dual perspective. I was excited about the little tidbits and the blurb and the stuff that Dee's been talking about with the book. And then if I remember correctly, and maybe you guys remember, last summer I read an anthology and Dee had something, I feel like it was Nova, which is one of the side characters in this book. I feel like we got something about that. I should have figured that out before I started the video. I apologize. But Dee has been giving us a lot of little sprinkles over the past several months about the Comic-Con, and I was super excited to finally get to read it. I love Birdie. I love Birdie. One more time, I love Birdie. So Birdie is probably in her late 20s. She is a comic book writer. I have to admit, I've never read a comic. I'm not big into the superhero world. I know Dee is. And then of course, as I mentioned, the muse for Atticus is Chris Evans. Okay, Captain America. That I do know. I agree. I enjoy Chris Evans. But getting back to Birdie, she is a successful comic book writer. The comic book is called The Suffragette, of course a play on the women's movement in the early 1900s. I loved the basis of this story, which is the backbone of the story is that the suffragette comic and Jet, main character in the comic, is a strong female character written by a strong woman in a business that is mostly male dominated. And the comic and the team behind the comic, not only with Birdie, but with her best friend Campbell, and then the other people that work on it, it's an all female led team. I appreciated how timely that felt. It felt super original and I really liked it. As the Suffragette has become so popular and has done so well, it's been optioned for a movie. And as the book begins, Birdie is about to attend the first table reading with the actors. She's a little nervous to go to the table read, which I totally understood. What Birdie is beginning and is on the precipice of understanding, not only has she developed this character and is part of this team of this super successful comic, but also as the writer for the movie, she's got fans. She's sought after. She is a woman that people, you know, she was, oh gosh, Dee talks about it. Was she a 30 under 30? You know, that list, I have no idea right now. I can't remember who makes that list every year, but it's notable people. Birdie herself is acquiring a bit of fame on her own 2 feet. But she's not super comfortable with that. She's like, I'm just Birdie. I'm in my leggings and like my movie t-shirt. I'm going to the table read, you know? We know that Birdie has a little bit of a crush on Atticus to begin with, that Atticus was on a TV show that she used to watch as a teenager. She was super excited that he got cast. Then we also get Atticus'S perspective and we find out that Atticus himself, I'm having trouble saying Atticus himself is a fan of Birdie's. they don't, of course, know that. They've never met. So I'm like, already I got like the good feels, and I was like, okay, here we go. Like, this is gonna be really sweet. The book is dual perspectives, and when they meet, we get both perspectives. And I had to laugh. It's from Birdie's perspective, and what she doesn't know is that she's talking to a bunch of friends, and she's talking about Atticus, and then he's standing right there, and she doesn't realize it's from Atticus's perspective. Tell us your thoughts on Atticus. Way to throw a girl under the bus, though, Birdie says. The thick braid of hair sways back and forth as she shakes her head. Let's just say Campbell and I started watching Sunset Heights because he was shirtless in the show preview, and I kept watching it for 7 years after because he continued to take his shirt off. I could have let it go on, but who am I to waste an excellent opportunity handed to me on a silver platter? So what you're saying is there's a good chance you'll sign these comics if I take my shirt off? And then Birdie, mortified doesn't come close. Betrayed comes to mind, though. I laugh nervously when I realize everyone is still looking at me, waiting for my response to his question. You can keep your shirt on. My voice and hands both shake as I reach out to take the small stack of comic books from his hand. I'll sign them just because you showed up with them. I mean, you felt Birdie's mortification, and we've all been in a situation like that. And I was like, okay, is Atticus really gonna be cocky? I didn't have my finger on him yet. I thought it was super sweet, though, that he brought a bunch of comics because he was a fan also, and he knew that he was going to have the women behind the suffragette comic there to sign. A true fan. There was a point where I got a little like, I've seen a bunch of this roaming around TikTok, and it's a trope that people don't like. Now, you guys know me. I'm not like super attached to tropes. I use them when I categorize my videos. I think it's an easy way to organize the channel, and if you really like Small Town, I've got a playlist. If you really like Second Chance, I've got a playlist. If you really like love triangles, it's a playlist. But that being said, I have heard that people don't like the miscommunication trope. And when I thought about that, as soon as I read this part in the book, I was like, oh shoot. Am I gonna like this? Because there's a part where there's a miscommunication between Birdie and Atticus. And Birdie thinks she hears something, but she didn't hear everything. So it's not a direct miscommunication. She overheard something. She thought it was something that it wasn't. It was taken out of context, but she kind of ran with it, literally. And I thought, oh no, are we gonna go through the whole book like this? The good news is we are quickly followed up with one of the other tropes, which is fake dating. So we get through the miscommunication part, and then we go into a bit of fake dating, and I love fake dating. I especially like that when they both already like each other. So you get all these cute little fun swoony moments. And that's how it was in this book. Atticus won me over 100%. He's so cute. He is swoony. I love how he likes her. I thought Birdie felt very organic and surprised that as somebody who is not used to fame, somebody who's she's like, I'm just a writer. She's kind of surprised at all the success that the comic has had. And here's this huge actor, and she's like, why would he like me? And he's like, why wouldn't I? I mean, he's totally attracted to her physically. He is all in on the fake dating. This is from Atticus's perspective. Is it silly that I'm just soaking up this night? I know this, she points between the two of us, is just business, but being here is like something out of a book. Back when people courted before swiping left or right in late night texts, when love was this grand spectacle, there it is. There's the opening I need. Challenge accepted. So cute. And then a little bit later, what challenge? Atticus's lip curls. This is from Birdie's perspective. To show you what real romance, chivalry, and all that isn't dead. We have to do this anyway, right? Let me plan the dates. Let me court you. You really have watched too many rom-coms. I refer back to the conversation with Campbell in the trailer yesterday. "Oh, come on," he coaxes. When his eyes return to me, he stills for a moment and then lets out a breath. With the slightest tilt of his head, he narrows his eyes as he tries to decipher my silence. But just seconds later, his shoulders relax. "Someone hurt you." He is tuned into her. And he's like, "I'm gonna get her." I loved that about him. Something really special happened in this book, and I made note of it, and I'm gonna share it with you because, and this does not happen very often. Has this ever happened to you? Tell me that. The timing and the season and the time of year that this book takes place. So she must have known that when she was gonna release this book was going to be at the same time of the year that it is. And as I'm reading it, the exact same thing is happening, like in my life and like outside. And when I read it, you'll know what I'm saying, but it was so cool. Like that never happens. Okay, the only time it ever really happens is when you read a holiday book around the holidays. But otherwise, and depending on how long the story goes for, you might go through several seasons or years, you know what I'm saying? I just love this part. It also really showcased how beautiful Dee's writing is. It's from Birdie's perspective. As soon as we step outside, warm spring sunlight touches my skin, and a unique happiness that only sunshine can bring fills my body. Everyone loves autumn in New England. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate a good pumpkin spice latte and wear my Uggs as much as the next girl, but there's something to be said about springtime. The sound of birds happily tweeting after the frigid winter, the pop of bright green in the trees. January may start like a new year, but spring always feels like a new beginning to me. I've written my favorite comics in the springtime. Easter is my favorite holiday, which is Dee's, I know that. My favorite little woodland friends always return this spring too. My therapist says that sunshine releases endorphins like serotonin, and I mean, technically she's right, but really, I just like seeing all the pretty budding flowers, the stuffiness of winter leaves, when we can start opening the windows and let fresh air into the house again. The energy is different in spring. I wholeheartedly 100% agree. To me, Atticus, and you guys know I've said this a million times before, it's always the main male characters that need to work for me. Like, I consider it a challenge. Like, every time I open a book, am I gonna like the male character? I know I'm pretty much gonna connect with the female main character, but the male character always has to prove something to me. And I think that's what I love the most about love stories, that and always getting happily ever after. That being said, Atticus, he just won me over. He really did. He does everything right. And it's so refreshing. There's enough drama in this book that kept me interested, 100%. There was some good stuff to sink my teeth into. I love the sexy time between them, but there's something really to be said for a male character, in my opinion, that says all the right things, makes all the right choices, and you really feel like he's the perfect guy. Atticus was the perfect guy. He shows up for Birdie because he loves her and he wants to be in her life. He supports her, he builds her up, he's there when she falls and doesn't let her run and hide. He is a fan of hers and he shows that to her. He believes in her and what she's doing with her life and her career, and he wants the best for her. He listens to her and he pays attention to her. It's about her for him. And isn't that what we all want in our significant other? Someone who is dialed in and focused on us as much as we are with them. We all need an Atticus in our lives. I was like right here with Birdie when she said this. After he wipes the tears from my cheeks, he leans in and presses his forehead to mine. I would have died before I let anything happen to you. I need you to know that. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through my veins, or maybe it's the reverence in his voice as he says those words to me. But I think I may have just fallen in love with Atticus Cohn Girl, me too. I absolutely loved this book. Let me know if you have read the Comic-Con or any of Dee's other books. You know I always love to hear. And while you're here, thank you for subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I would love to have you come and join us here regularly. And also come over and join my Facebook group, which is Cat's Romance Readers on Facebook. I have the link down below, and of course, the other links to my social media. Come on over and say hello to me. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.